Welcome back, Dr. Zoda here. So I just came back from one of our weekly coaching calls in the Digital Doctor program, where we help busy doctors build passive income by selling the expertise that they already have online. And one of the most common questions that I tend to get is, Dr. Zoda, what can I possibly teach? Right? And that is a really good question because almost all the clients that we work with, they start off with no idea. We start off on a blank page, clean canvas, and to be honest, it makes my job a lot easier because we're starting off on a strong foundation, right? We've even had some clients that tried to figure out their idea without the proper support, and they just got lost, overwhelmed, and confused. One of our clients has actually spent 2 years publishing a blog, writing a book, starting a website, starting a podcast actually, and she ended up not getting any students. And that is a very painful process to know that years and years of your hard work, pouring your heart and soul, trying to actually help other people, just to be wasted. But when she joined when she joined our program, within the first week, we got her dialed in on her niche, her offer. We got her dialed in on who she wants to serve and what she wants to teach. And because of this, we figured out her idea, and now she's doing incredibly well and generating 4 times the revenue that she used to generate from her clinical pay. And so finding your idea is very important, and you can't possibly do this without the proper support. And that's why I wanted to film this video, to provide that piece of guidance and provide that mentorship that you might need in order to go about your journey if you were to decide to do this yourself. So first of all, there's 3 key pillars to finding your right idea. The first is psychological. And what do I mean by psychological? We can break it down into 2 parts: the doubts about yourself and the doubts about the market. So I remember when I was first starting out, I had so many doubts about myself. I think most doctors, in general, we tend to undervalue our expertise. We go through years and years of schooling, being told we're not good enough. Sometimes we feel like imposters, being surrounded by all these intelligent whiz kids that have all these publications, that have all these IQ Mensa scores. We sometimes feel like we're just not good enough. And that is quite normal, to be honest. But what is not normal is the irrational fear that comes into place. I remember when I was first starting out, one of the biggest fears I had was actually showing myself on camera. One of the biggest fears I had was this accent that I have. It's not technically English. I mean, it's not technically American. I don't even know what accent I have, but that was a big insecurity of mine, just putting myself online and sharing my value with the world. And a lot of our clients that we work with, we also have that fear. But at the end of the day, these are irrational, and you can't let that hold you back from providing value to other people, to serving people that you can genuinely help. Second of all is the doubts about the market. Some people just aren't aware that this is a golden opportunity in online education, especially medical education. And what I mean by this is that I don't know whether they're just, stuck under a rock, but they're just not aware that Netflix is replacing Blockbuster, or already has replaced Blockbuster. Amazon is replacing Walmart, and Harvard Medical School is slowly transitioning online. More and more people are transitioning online and away from the brick and mortar setup that most businesses are operated upon. And if the pandemic has taught us one thing, is that online is where it's going. Everything is going digital, and there are those that take advantage of this opportunity to serve more people, to generate meaningful impact and massive income for themselves. And there are those that are on the sidelines, just watching other people take their lunch. And it's not fun to be sitting on the sidelines while other people and passing up opportunities endlessly, right? Then there's the second category. There are people that are aware, but they just don't think it's urgent. They think that they have more and more time to build up their passive income. They think that their stocks are going to make more money. Real estate is going to make more money, instead of taking control of their time, their finances, and their freedom. They just don't think it's urgent. They think that, by the time I retire, I'm going to have enough money. By the time I blah, 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 whatever excuse that they might have. And it's a very dangerous position to be in. If the pandemic ever taught me anything, I see colleagues around me getting fired, getting laid off, and they don't even have more than a few $1,000 in their bank account. That is financially irresponsible, especially for those that have family, the children to take care of. That is just financially irresponsible, and their fall is going to be painful if they don't take control of their time, their finances, as well as their, family. You don't want to be sitting on the sidelines and passing up opportunities endlessly. And that leads us to the third category, There are people that are aware, but they just don't think it's important enough. They don't think it's important enough to, start planning for their financial future. They don't think it's important enough to start monetizing the expertise that they already have. And they're just leaving this on the table. And it's a scary position to be in. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. And the second pillar that we want to look at is perspective. A lot of this just has to do with perspective, especially those without any business experience or marketing experience. To start something of their own is quite a daunting process. It's outside of your comfort zone. I remember when I was first starting out, right? I would have thought all these different ideas, all the information is out there for free. Who would possibly pay for my expertise? I just didn't value it as much. But it really comes down to a matter of perspective. And I want to share this with you. So, what is this? Now, a lot of people, they would think it's a blue square. Now, what is this? A lot of people would think this is a yellow circle. And they're both right. But both of them are just different perspectives of what is the ultimate truth. So it really comes down to perspective. If you have the right perspective, yes, indeed, this is a blue circle, a blue square. Indeed, this is a yellow circle. But the truth often lies in between. And a lot of the times, especially as doctors, we spend so many hours in the hospital. Most of our conversations with our colleagues are related to medicine. We live and breathe the medicine. When we go back home, we're looking at journals, we're looking at articles in order to hone in our craft. And we basically live and breathe medicine. And so we quite literally get boxed in a way of thinking. All we think about is medicine. And so we might start to think, well, who on earth would value our expertise? Who on earth would actually pay money to learn from my medical expertise, right? Now, it's only in certain situations, like let's say a friend's wedding, let's say we meet up our high school friends, that we get taken out of this blue box and be introduced into a different perspective of reality. Now people are starting to ask us for their rashes, their itches, or their knee pain, stuff like that. And then we start realizing that, wow, outside of the hospital, our expertise is highly valued. There's a huge market out there that's starving for our expertise and is willing to pay good money in order to learn from us. And so you never want to forget that as a healthcare professional. You never want to undervalue your expertise. You want to know your worth and be able to, help more people outside of the constraints of just the hospital. There's a huge market out there that's starving for our expertise that we can genuinely help on a global scale. And third of all is positioning. And what I mean by this is that a lot of people, they might think that all the information is already out there for free. People genuinely think that. And, it's kind of a fair play because all the information is indeed out there. Google, PubMed, Medscape, UpToDate, Lancet, all the information is really, it is out there, but it's disjointed, it's scattered, it's not consolidated, and it's not information that actually matters, right? If information was all that matters, anyone with a library card could go and become a doctor. All he really needed was a library card. And it's not what information you know, it's how you use the information that you already know in order to help someone. That is what matters in the end. And that is what matters most when it comes to finding your course idea. It's how you package the expertise that you already have for the online world and create something that actually adds value to others and is actually marketable. All right. In today's digital age, information is cheap like running water, but it's scattered and disorganized like the picture I showed you just now. The only thing that matters is what you do with the information that's locked inside your head. You can keep it locked inside your head, never letting it see the light of day, or you can consolidate that information to serve more people on a global scale and make meaningful impact and generate massive passive income for you, your financial future, and your family. So you can free yourself up from the hamster wheel of trading your time for money on trading your time for one-on-one consultations. And success in finding your course idea really comes down to these three things: overcoming your psychological fears, secondly, seeing things from a different perspective, and third of all, positioning yourself in the right marketplace. And I'll tell you a very simple story. I remember in my medical elective, I went into Tanzania, and one of the colleagues that I worked with, she was actually from Russia, right? So she wasn't even speaking proper English, okay? And based on any standards from the Western world, she probably wouldn't even pass the SATs, right? That is probably our category. That is probably our standard of what constitutes good English. And yet, in Tanzania, she was able to teach other Tanzanian kids on how to speak English, right? And so a lot of people, they might think that they need to be Shakespeare, they need to be Robert Frost, they need to be the best English poet in the entire world in order to teach English. But that doesn't actually matter. It's not the expert that actually matters. It's how you position yourself in the marketplace. If you were to teach a course on English, people would think you're mad. But if you were to teach a course on English to China, to Tanzania, to Korea, suddenly the conversation becomes a lot more different. It's all about how you package the expertise that you already have for the right marketplace. And that's exactly what we help you uncover inside our 4-step system in the Digital Doctor program. In step 1, we help you get started by clearly defining who you want to serve and what you want to teach. We get crystal clear on your idea and we get that dialed in so you don't make any mistakes later down the line. We have clients that have spent 2 years plus starting books, podcasts, getting distracted by all this noise when within the first 7 days we sat her down, we started listening to her and started devising a strategy to scale her course in the most profitable and effective way. And that's exactly what we help you accomplish in the first week. In the second week, we help you set up the foundations to sell your online course. We give you a proven sales process to turn a complete stranger into a paying student that just works, and you can install it in a few clicks. In step 3, here's the fun part. We start building your course content. Now, you don't need any expensive software. You don't need any expensive cameras. We keep things very simple. At the end of the day, what's most valuable is your expertise. And so we sit down, all you have to do is just fill in the blanks to our pre-built templates and you can get your course launched in no time. And finally, in the final step, we automate your online course. At this point, you've already gotten a few students and you're already cash flow positive. We simply reinvest the profits that we've already made in order to scale from 0 to 6 figures online. This is where your hands start coming off the steering wheel and this becomes an automated source of income that works 24 hours, 365 because the internet just doesn't sleep. And so there you go. Now you know exactly how to find your course idea and we'll walk you by step inside the first week of our program to help you get that dialed in. But what do you do with this information? Well, I want to invite you to our free training down below where you can see over my shoulder the 4-step system that we use to help busy doctors hit 6-figure months by selling their expertise online. And that's exactly what we help you do. We help clients that start off with no idea. We help them overcome their psychological fears. We help them see things from a different perspective. And third of all, most importantly, we help them package and position themselves in the online world to create something that is actually marketable. Now, our program is very selective and we don't work with every single client. And that's just because we have a limited bandwidth and we're very selective with the clients that we take on, right? First of all, if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, if you're looking to take advantage of other people, then we're just not going to work with you. Second of all, if you're stuck in past ways of doing things, if you cannot see long-term, if you cannot, put a little bit of work today in order to reap the rewards downstream to generate passive income, then we simply cannot help you. And third of all, if you procrastinate, if you keep putting things off, if you never take action, and instead of building a system that generates a consistent and predictable source of revenue, a return on investment, ROI, you actually focus on the cost of inaction, the COI, then we just simply cannot help you. Who we typically work with is as follows. First of all, those that value their time. They know the worth of their time. They're looking for flexibility in their career to serve more people without the deadly time trade of their time for money. And second of all, those that value their expertise. They want to help more people on a global scale and generate clear return on investment for the time invested. And third of all, they value their future. They're sick of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting for different results. That is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They want to take control of their lives. They want to take control of their finances, their future, their family, and their freedom. And if that's the case, then we'd love to work with you. Those are the clients that tend to do best in our program anyway. And we want to help you free up your time, replace your clinical income, and achieve a life of financial freedom. So if that's something that you're interested in, then simply let's talk. Book a call down below and you can speak with me or someone from our team and we'll help you get set up right away. I hope this video was valuable and I hope you can take some nuggets of wisdom from the 3 pillars of finding your course idea. Take care.